Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2025. Guys, this year, and by year I mean school year because I've been thinking about that in terms of my kids. They only have like 2 full weeks of school left and then kind of 2 partial weeks with the way the Memorial Day holiday works out. So the school year is coming to a close. My daughter has her conference track meet today. So the season is wrapping up. School year is wrapping up, and I think summer is almost upon us. And once again, I'm caught off guard. We'll talk all more about it. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. I think I have you guys caught up in terms of the episodes that you're listening to. So hopefully when you're listening to this, the weather is as nice when you're listening to this as it is today here in Crystal Lake. The weather is gorgeous. I woke up my younger daughter today, and I said, today's going to be one of the nicest day of the year. It's 52 degrees when I woke her up, 52 degrees, which I don't know how much that is in Celsius. Maybe, I don't know, 3? No, it's not 3. Not 13. I don't know. It's nice. It's very pleasant. A little bit warm for racing. Let's put it that way. And then it would be like 70 something for her recess when she has to go outside again. And so that is just downright balmy. It's gorgeous. It's going to be, I think, a little bit warm for my daughter's track meet in the afternoon, but that'll be good for racing. She's racing the 1600 and the 800. So hopefully you're getting some fantastic weather too, everyone that's listening. And everyone watching this later but not live, welcome to the #1 drive time radio show that is neither for driving or for the radio. But you're in the right spot if you're interested in things that are kind of running adjacent. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it's for runners. We don't always talk about running, though. But you're welcome, and you're in the right spot. All right. Mark says, hey, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Ours was busy, to say the least, celebrating my daughter's 2nd birthday Friday and my 36th Saturday. Mother's Day yesterday. Everybody got a day. Yeah, I mean, I guess, Mark, you better call it quits there, because if you have add more to your family, they're not going to be able to fit in on that same weekend. Otherwise, people are going to have to share if you do. But that sounds like a pretty fun weekend. And congratulations for your daughter turning 2. What a wonderful milestone. Sean Devlin's here. He says, hey, Kafuzi Run Club. Managed to get in back-to-back runs this weekend that were longer than usual, so progressing nicely. That's awesome. Also, the first PT sesh today to work on glute strength, etc. All good stuff. If you are seeing a PT about glute stuff, can you ask them what sleepy glutes are and report back? Because I still have no idea. I gotta tell you. All right, Eric just had a good long visit to Chicago, a few pounds heavier, and took the weekend off from running as I was feeling a weird hammy thing that impinged. 6 miles easy today, no pushing, just the small hills. Cheers. All right, I'm glad you had a good trip to Chicago. And way to take care of yourself, too. Because it was beautiful weather here over the weekend. So I could see it would be really tempting to try and get out there and do some running. But if your hamstring is weird, it's going to be a long summer. It's going to be a long running season. So I'm glad you're pacing yourself. Rich Dizon says, yo, what's going on? SC Elite version 5 is out in the wild, making me a little more hopeful that we can cross off the bingo card square to see someone wearing New Balance on a major podium. Yeah, that would be something. Should we take a look at the bingo square? Let me take a look at that. I feel like I need to figure out how I can cross them off better. I mean, I guess I can just like literally cross it off, in a not very pretty way. But let me see if I can get it up on the screen and share it with you guys so we could take a look, because I feel like it's been a long time since we've taken a look. Share window. No. I don't think I can share the whole window, and I have to put it in a Chrome. I can't show it to you guys. We'll have to figure something else out some other time. I mean, I can, but I have to share my whole desktop, and then my software is freaking out. But let me take a look at it myself, though. Des did not beat Dakota. I did lose a GoPro, but it broke, but we'll count that as losing it. So that's one. There is a new lightest shoe on the spreadsheet, so that's another one. Goggins still has not carried a literal boat. We haven't seen a novelty sprint event yet, have we? But I don't know. No shoe brand has swept a major. The 40mm rule is still in effect. BAA, as far as I know, has not had any YouTube takedowns this year. So that's one that I was certain was going to be a square. But New Balance major marathon major podium. I mean, we're down to the fall races now because all the majors are done, at least for the spring. So we'll see. All right. Let's see who else we have in here. Calvin says, hi all, 1 week till my marathon. Left foot ankle is pretty sore. It's been beaten up from overuse and supination. So it might be a 0 mile week just to be as close to 100% for race day. Okay. But I mean, I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a medical provider, but I would say don't just completely be off it though. I feel like if you're feeling good to walk, maybe you should do a little bit of walking just to put some stimulus on it, but whatever you can handle, you know what I mean? Don't run if you don't feel like you can run. But I'll be fingers crossed for you. Sunny says, hello, getting laundry done on a hot day. Women are in the cities this Saturday, but it's looking cold at the start, like 50 degrees. 50 degrees is what you want. 50 degrees is a great race temp start. You just have to have some warm layers in the beginning. Yeah, you might need to toss, but yeah. Oh, and Mark says, oh, I totally forgot. They're having a baby boy in 2 months. That boy's going to be out there on an island by himself, though, birthday-wise. But I guess that's all right, because then kids don't like to share when they're young anyway. But, Mark, I forgot that you guys were having another one. I knew that, though, I think. I'm pretty sure I knew that. All right. Johnny Dodgen has an interesting question. He says, I saw Lars, the owner of Say Sky, did a 2:46 at Copenhagen, which is blazingly fast. So here's the question. Who's the fastest running brand owner? I don't know. I think I don't think Tim Rossi is an owner over at Bandit. Is he an owner, or does he work there? Does he have ownership? I don't think he's considered an owner, right? Because Tim Rossi's faster than that. But that's pretty fast. It wouldn't be at Rabbit. It wouldn't be at Path Projects. I don't think that they would be winning out there. Who owns Satisfy? I feel like someone at Satisfy could low-key knock out like a 225. Probably. Right? If you're coming in with that kind of swagger, you probably got some heat to back it up. So, I don't know. 246 is very impressive, though. Really nice. D0 Aperture says, I ran the Chase Corporate Challenge for my company last week and beat my PB by 4 minutes. Great job. Nice. And Calvin says, I think the Adidas will sweep sometime this year. I mean, they came pretty close to a sweep in London, right? And by pretty close, I mean they won first for men and women. And I feel like that's not unheard of. I'm sure Nike's done it. I can't think of a time when it's happened. Adidas just did it. Has Puma ever done it? I don't know if Puma's ever done that before. But I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's not easy. I think what's interesting is that, and this ties into the Evo 2 review that I just put out. Was that last week? People are like, well, is Evo 2 better or is Evo 1 better? And I'm like, they're just different. And I think they're meant for different runners. For example, in London, Asefa won for the women. And did she set a women's only record? But she won in the Evo 1s, which is what she set the women's world record in. Well, which was the women's record at the time. It's now not hers anymore. And then Sawe, I can never pronounce his first name, but Sawe won for the men in the Evo 2. So 2 Adidas wins, 2 different shoes, which is amazing because I guess they have 3 pinnacle product shoes, because I do think that I wonder what the story is with the Adidas athletes that are still racing in Adios Pro 4 or even 3. Is it just that they have a strong preference for that? Kind of like how some Nike athletes are insisting on running in Alpha Flight. Well, I guess not too many of the pro athletes because I think they're probably not allowed to. But some people like to race in Alpha Fly 1 versus Alpha Fly 2 or 3. Are there any Adidas Pros that are still running in like even the Adios Pro 4? I don't know. You guys, I don't know how you guys got on it, but there's a long thread in the chat about deep dish or Detroit style pizza, and I'm trying not to let myself get too distracted about it. I haven't eaten lunch yet. It's been a weird morning. I'm trying to get that Tokyo video out. I'm trying to get it out for tomorrow, but I spent a little bit too much time working on it this morning. I didn't get to go on my run. I'm going to have to cut my run a little bit short. I got a kind of a project that I'm working on that is very time consuming and is unfortunately timed right at the same time I'm trying to do this Tokyo thing. So anyway, I'm really hungry and I'm very easily distractible by pizza talk, but I'm going to try to keep the blinders on this one. Oh, Calvin says, Steve Scullion has a brand, right? I suppose he does. What is that brand called? I forget. It's like 26 something. It has the number 26 in the brand, right? Do we know? And Terry says, does Ben Parks count? I mean, he's selling. I think I don't think that counts as much because he sells his own merch. And as long as maybe I don't know as much, maybe something has changed, but I don't think he has his own line of clothes. You know what I mean? I think he's going to vendors that he could work with to design stuff. I mean, I guess what makes a designer at that point, but I don't feel like it's like in-house. You know what I mean? Patrick's got the Brooklyn half on Saturday. He says he's not been running much volume, but had some fast 5Ks in the past month. He's been resting after a full marathon. You don't have to justify it, Patrick. You could just say you've been running fast 5Ks and not a lot of volume. That's all right. But anyway, he's hoping to get a PB for the half. Good luck. That's a good race. I'd like to run it someday, but maybe I haven't run it. I've watched it, but I haven't run it. Scuba Sun says, Heiko, can you say anything about the New Balance Elite version 5? Version 4 is nice, but it's not like the other Marathon Podium Super Shoes. I have no information on the New Balance Elite version 5. New Balance tends not to send me stuff very early. It's very erratic. I've talked to people about it. They say don't take it personally. It feels like it's personal, but I don't take it personally. I'll get it when I get it, and if I don't get it, I'll buy it. But other than that, I'm going to be like the last person to get not inside information, but like early information. I would suggest reach out to Thomas or Robbie. They would know. All right, Kevin says Steven Scullion's brand is 200. Is it 262 or 26.2? That counts, so it'd probably be the fastest. Yeah, I mean, I think right now he counts, and it's super annoying that like already like the pendulum has already been pegged, right? Because he's like a 208 guy, you know, so it doesn't even matter if you're a brand owner. You just have to be a pro. It's kind of like how the Masters marathon record has been ruined because it's like pros are still running at the age of 40. And so it's like, well, that's no fun anymore. But yeah. Kieran Pearson says, Hey, Kofuzi, first time commenting, but always enjoy the podcast as well as your other content here in Ireland. I have a shoe question. All right, let's hear it, Kieran. Thanks for listening. Misha Mano says, I also ran a half marathon PB yesterday. Congratulations. Ran a 1:45, 10 minutes slower than run predicted. Halfway through, I couldn't keep pace. Do I still get a bell? You absolutely get a bell. But 10 minutes slower than run predicted. What happened? Oh boy. Sorry to hear about that. That just means you got more left on the table for the next time. All right, here's Kieran's question. It says, I've been struggling with finding the right daily trainer. I was wondering if you had some advice. I tried the New Balance, the NB version 14. What's NB 14? I don't know. My brain's drawing a blank. Ghost Max 2, Hoka Skyflow, Rebel version 4 with no luck. All right. Well, I wouldn't use the Skyflow as a daily. Rebel 4 is a pretty good daily trainer. Ghost Max, see what's confusing to me is that you don't like the Ghost Max 2 or the Rebel version 4. Those are two very different kinds of daily trainers. And if you don't like one, you will probably like the other. But let's go with something that's a little bit more in the middle. I would say, how about like a Ride 18? That could be a good one for you. I mean, I think it depends on what you didn't like about these shoes. If they're just too tall, then maybe like an Adizero SL2. Maybe a Velocity Nitro 3 could be something. That might be where I'm thinking if you didn't like the Rebel 4 and you didn't like the Ghost Max 2. Interesting. All right. Let me know if you've tried any of those. Christian Thompson says, I'm normally a podcast listener. Just ran my third marathon at 3:30:30. That's a lot of threes. 17-minute PR in the Endorphin Pro 4. Great job. Says this was a great first racer. I want something that feels a little bit more aggressive. Any suggestions? I agree that the Endorphin Pro 4 is a great first racer. I'd say if you want something a little bit more aggressive than that, I think it's hard not to look at the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 after that. That's one that I would look to. It's going to feel very different than the Endorphin Pro 4, but I think that's a good place to look. I'm trying to think what else could we put in there. Yeah, that'll be one place. I might also look at the Adios Pro 4. Those would be two that I look at. Those are two kind of different shoes, but the Endorphin Pro 4 is kind of a little bit of everything, so it doesn't always tell me a lot if a person, like everyone should be able to get along with the Endorphin Pro 4, pretty much everyone. Some people will like it more than others, but everyone, like no one should really have a problem with it, with the way it's built. Same thing with like the New Balance SC Elite version 4. So I think, yeah, Adios Pro 4 or Nitro Elite 3 is where I would look next. JC predicts, I'd be willing to bet. He's not just predicting, he's betting. I'm willing to bet the Elite 5 will remain less aggressive than other super shoes. Maybe they'll surprise us. I mean, I hope so. I hope they surprise us. Yeah. I mean, I know New Balance works really far. I mean, all the brands work really far in time, but it seems like everyone's going to ATPU, or at least partial ATPU. I guess Nike's not, but a lot of the brands are. And I know it took New Balance a while to get PIBA in their race shoes. I wonder what if New Balance put a bunch of ATPU in that shoe? Probably didn't. But that'd be interesting. All right. Someone said the Boston 13 for that question that we were talking about. That could be a good one too. But it depends on what you didn't like about Ghost Max 2 and what you didn't like about Rebel 4. If you didn't like the Ghost Max 2 for being a bit clunky and stiff in the heel, then I don't know if you'll like the Boston 12 or 13. And Steve says, on the recommendation of Co and many in this group, I picked up a pair of the Evo SLs, and wow, they are a joy to run in. I'm glad you like those, Steve. And I'm glad, thanks for the feedback on that. Those are a great shoe. I love those. But I feel like if you don't like the Rebel version 4, you might not like that one. You might not like the Evo SL. But yeah, I think that's an aside, but it's a very good shoe. Yeah. All right. Jonas LaGrue says, I'm a high school runner and I'm looking for a shoe I can use just for, a lot of shoe questions today. This is great. I'm looking for a shoe I can just use for sprints as a spike replacement. Do you got any recommendations? I got a couple. One shoe that I got for my daughter, who is a middle school runner, I got her the Adios 9, not the Pro, but like the regular Adios 9. And she loves it. And so when she uses it for workouts, and she uses it because she's in middle school. Some of the races are not on track surface tracks; they're on like tarmac tracks, and so in that case, she'll race in the Adios 9. I also have the Adios 9, and I enjoy them for very short, fast stuff. It's very lightweight, feels like you're just wearing a sock. It's really nice, but the foam is really nice on it too. So I would recommend that one. I think the Puma Liberate is good. Saucony, what is that one called? Sinister. Saucony Sinister. It's all power MPB, no plate, very flexible, one of the lightest shoes. That's another really great one. So those would be some ones that I look at. If you can find the New Balance, you probably can't because I looked for it for my daughter. Last year, she raced in the SC Pacer version 1, not version 2. And that was great because it's got a little bit of fuel cell and a pretty stiff carbon fiber plate. The energy arc is nice on that one. And it's super lightweight. Uppers, divine. One of the best running uppers I've ever seen. My daughter loved that shoe. And I love that shoe. It's just I don't run races that really require it. But that's a good one. Version 2 got weird. So I don't know. AJ wants to know, Fast R3 or Alpha Fly? For me, I'd pick the Fast R3. I like it a lot more. It feels a lot more precise. It feels like it fits better on my foot. I think the Alpha Fly 3 has a lot more room in the forefoot. It's the roomiest knit shoe I think I've ever run in, like as far as race shoes go, versus like Vaporfly 4% Flying It, SC Elite 3. What other race shoes I've had knit? Probably not. I guess not that many. But anyway, I guess other Alpha Flies. But the knit in that one makes it a little bit roomier. So if you need a little bit more room, I'd go with the Alpha Fly. If you are a bit more of a midfoot striker than a forefoot striker, I'd go with Alpha Fly. But if you really like to stomp on that forefoot like I do, the Fast R3 is pretty tough to beat and it's so light too. Oh, Leona's here. She says, "Hey, co-fam, quick, hi, bye. Nordstrom has, I appreciate she came in. She's like, I got to tell you guys about a deal I found. Nordstrom has women's Mach 6 in orange for sale for $77. Just snagged a pair. That is a really good deal. Thanks, Leona. Hope you're doing okay." Daniel says, "Co, did you like the Puma Nitro Elite 3? Yes, it was my racing shoe of the year last year, 2024. I love that shoe. Even though it's not really meant for me, mechanics-wise, geometry-wise, it's still just really good, really light, and it was $225. So, I mean, like, pretty much all dimensions you look at it, it's a winner to me. Oh, Frank wants to know about the Streak Fly. Is a Streak Fly a good sprinter's shoe for high school? I don't know. I did just get a pair, but I haven't run any yet. I think I saw Thomas just put out some notes on it. I think they put out a review or an early review. I don't know which one it is. I think he put out written content on. I don't know if he made a video, but yeah. Patrick says apparently the Streak Fly 2 is a good Speedwork shoe. Haven't tried them myself though. And Run Tommy seconding, and I'm sure you're not the only one that would second for Saucony Sinister. I feel like that is like that's a deep Kofuzi Run Club cut. I feel like I don't want to say we're the only ones that like it here, because I know Adam really likes it too. I'm sure he's told everybody. But I feel like I've never heard of anyone talk about the Saucony Sinister outside of this chat. If you guys have, Like, if someone has told you about, like, hey, you know what you should try? You should try this Saucony. If anyone has talked to you about the Saucony Sinister, or if you've seen anyone make content about the Saucony Sinister outside of this live stream, let me know. I challenge you. All right, I'll do one more question, and then I gotta open some things, and then I gotta kind of leave early today because my schedule got all whack. But Daniel says, "Hey, Co, or anyone out here, what are your go-to base building off-season marathon workouts? 8x10 times 800s. That could be a good workout. So I was just watching a Steve Magnus video on aerobic speedwork, which was fascinating. And you should check that out, number one, because the things he's talking about there could make for some very good kind of off-season workouts. And they are quite different in terms of like the execution of what he's doing there, because he's talking about doing like 150s or 200 meters, maybe 400-meter repeats, and very, very, very short rests, but and not super fast paces. But what I like to do, either ramping up for a marathon build or if I just need to like test a marathon shoe, is I like to get kind of fartlek-ish. And so like I'll do like 3 minutes on, 45 seconds to a minute off, at threshold-ish pace. Maybe it's marathon pace, maybe it's half marathon pace, maybe it's threshold, whatever I kind of feel like, because it's off season and it's just, you're just getting the legs moving and you just want to feel good. So I usually do that. I'll do like 8 of those. So you get 24 minutes of work. If you do 10, that's also fine. 30 minutes of work. But 3 minutes ain't going to put you too far in the hole. And then 45 seconds to a minute is plenty of rest if you're not running them super hard. So if you're running them like in between half marathon and 10K pace, that's a workout that I love to do. That's a good ramp up or ramp down or maintenance workout that I like a lot. Adam says, that Magnus seems to focus more on middle distance runners. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was necessarily intended for marathon runners to really incorporate, but I mean, he did talk about like the applicability of the concept of doing aerobic repeats, and not considering them like speed work, but more aerobic work for like kind of translating that to like, isn't that kind of what double thresholds are? So but it was an interesting conversation. I listened to it twice in a row because I was filming stuff in the basement and I was like, I don't think I caught all that. I gotta go back and watch that again. I'll probably watch it again a third time. All right, let's get to some snacks. So we got some snacks here. These are the last 2 snacks I have from Japan. Ones I didn't eat yet. So once I finish these, I'm just going to have to go back, I guess, try them out. These are snacks I picked up at Lawson's. I think I like Lawson's the best. Where we were staying this time, there weren't a lot of Family Marts. Actually, I think I saw almost no Family Marts. It was all Lawson's in the neighborhood we were. But these are very nice. These are just chocolate covered almonds. They kind of, at first, it's a very sweet milk chocolate. And it kind of felt like I was getting a Raisinette. But these, good. Recommend them. Almond Belote. Is Lotte a Chinese brand? I mean, a Japanese brand or a Korean brand? Because I remember in Korea, there's Lotte everything. Oh, a lot of the Asian companies, a big brand is a mega brand. So they make everything from like trucks to rice cookers to televisions and stuff like that. But Lotte, I know, is a department store, and they also make gum. So they probably make everything in between as well, right? But I don't know what country they're from. Daniel says they have a Japanese dollar store in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's pretty cool. Someone was telling me that you can get Pocari Sweat at H Mart these days. So I might have to do that. Pick up a case. Maybe for the next Kofuji Run Club. Let me put Curry Sweat and Spunky Dunkers Donuts. Like, how is Latte Corp is Korean? That's what I thought. Mark says, it always made me laugh that I could have bought a Yamaha saxophone and TV and dirt bike. Yeah. When Yuki Kawauchi was sponsored by Yamaha, I felt like when I heard the news, I was like, by Yamaha what? Motorcycles? And then I was like, no, it's Yamaha pianos. Yuki Kawauchi, I don't know if he still is, but he was, shortly after winning the Boston Marathon, he was sponsored by Yamaha pianos. They do make really great motorcycles, though. Sean Devlin says, I remember hearing they were going to make US 7-Elevens more like Japan with healthier offerings. I just think that there's so much uphill to climb. I feel like you got to go Skechers Performance with that. You got to split it off in a way. Because like no matter, I mean, when are you going to eat an egg salad sandwich from 7-Eleven? Even if they said it's like Japanese style, you're going to eat the egg salad sandwich? You're going to eat the tuna musubis? I don't know. I really don't know about that. Super Engine says, Yamaha actually makes legit instruments. They do. And Scuba Sun says, I love Yamaha motorcycles. Also, very, very legit. And it says, we have a really good Yamaha stereo and Wi-Fi speaker system. I didn't know they made Wi-Fi speakers. Bro, please stop, says, I'm new to your content, new to running, and I'm excited to put some miles in my Super West 2 I just received. Well, welcome, bro. Glad you're here. Glad you're enjoying running, and you picked a really fun shoe to put some miles in. Hopefully you enjoy it. Stevie76 says, what if Yamaha made shoes too? I don't know. Maybe they would match the design of like their motorcycles. That'd be kind of nice. All right, let's go to the next snack. Cronky. I just like the name of the company. Also a Lotte snack. It looks like there's like crisped rice in there. So I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, maybe I saw on Instagram or something that was ported to Instagram from TikTok, that anytime they show any product on a label in Japan, it has to be like to size. So that's the size of them. And they kind of look like Milk Duds. So they're like circular, and it looks like they feel like they would be soft, but it's very crunchy. It's like a crunch bar if you mixed around with the ratios. Much more chocolate, less crispy rice. And there's a weird aftertaste. It's not as sweet as American milk chocolate, which makes sense. It's pretty good. Just something up with this chocolate. I don't like it. It doesn't taste right. It tastes like it's picked up a flavor. You know what I mean? When chocolates can like absorb the air around it. Or maybe this is just what they taste like. I don't know. Eric says that these are going to leave as the same as they enter. Same shape. I don't like these. The almond ones are better. All right. Let's get to this. I forgot to open this last time. And we'll have to see what it is. I mean, I know what it is because I've read the label on the box. But it's a surprise to you guys. I think I just showed you the label though on accident. It's not that much of a surprise, but it's something that I don't really use. And I do somewhat regularly get asked to review these. So I think for those of you guys that know me, you would understand why I don't normally review these, but we got these from Superfeet. Is Superfeet the brand that just had that event up in New York? Is Tommy here? Is that what Tommy went? Tommy just went to New York for something. Is that what he went for? Comment says, are these insoles? Yes, they are insoles. They sent me two. One is a low arch height, max insole thickness, added stability, support low arch, running insole. And the other one is a support medium arch. It's medium arch, max insole thickness. Now, I had my feet 3D measured one time at a running store thing. You know how you like step in the thing and like the cameras look at your feet and stuff? These smell strongly. Sorry, I'm also burping. It's a good thing you guys can't smell over here. So here it is. This is a very tough piece of plastic in here. It doesn't really bend. No, it doesn't bend at all. And it has some arch support built into it. So if you want, and it looks like it comes back really far. I don't know that this will be comfortable on my foot because it feels like it presses the arch really far backwards. Like if you think about the foot and how like the arch should be right before the pads of the feet, it feels like it's pushing the arch further back. So maybe that's good for people if their ankle is caving in and overpronating. But for me, I feel like this would hurt. And then the front feels thicker than a regular insole. So there we go. It says, reported areas of improved comfort while wearing Superfeet. Number 1, back and spine. Number 2, knees. Number 3, feet and ankles. So the problem that I have with insoles, aftermarket insoles, is number 1, and then we'll get to the question that you guys are talking about in the chat. That's much more fascinating to me than insoles. No disrespect intended to these insoles, but here's why I normally don't, and I don't know why. I think they emailed me and asked if I would take a look at them. I don't know why I said yes. I normally don't say yes to these things. Is 1, I review shoes. So I need to be able to run in a shoe and feel the shoe. If I put in aftermarket insoles, it changes the experience of the shoe. My experience will then be different from what you might experience. I've previously kind of fudged on that by saying, well, if I don't like a shoe, maybe by adding insoles that are customized to my feet, for example, if that's the case. That's not what these are, but there are some that can. Maybe it'll make a shoe that I don't like suddenly feel great. So I thought maybe it's a way of rescuing shoes, but I don't really like that. I feel like it's a lot of work for a shoe that where the answer is probably pick a different shoe. So these are the insoles. I don't know if I'll try these. The other thing is a lot of shoes don't have removable insoles anymore. So the things are glued down. And so one, you'd either have to permanently, it's like a one-way trip. You're taking out that insole. Or 2, you have to buy a bigger shoe size to make the insole fit, which seems like the wrong direction to go. I don't know. Maybe I'm being close-minded on it. Mark says, when I worked at Feet, we brought in Superfeet shoes in addition to the insole. I didn't know Superfeet had shoes. I don't think I ever sold a pair. I'm not sure if they even make them anymore. Interesting. Andrew Scott says, swap them into the Elliott Racer. Do you think they would fit? So you want me to take out this ATPU and put in this thing? Will it fit? It fits. This is actually going to give me a lot more volume because I'm losing all that ATPU. I'm getting just P by now. I don't think this is the answer. I don't think this is it. get it back out. Okay. For the Elliott Racer, these insoles are very hard to get back in though. Mark Johnson says this is like crossing streams in Ghostbusters. You know, every time I make a "don't cross the streams" joke, it always sounds so much more dirty than I intend. I never intended it to be dirty, but there's a lot of times where there's like a lot of people with selfie sticks running around, and I guess maybe it is as dirty as I intend. I don't know, but I'm always like, "Don't cross streams," but it seems weird. Yeah. So I don't know. It has me thinking like, I don't know, maybe I need to work with someone that's a stability person because I am not a stability person and I never review stability shoes. But I don't know. I just think that person, if they're good at it, they should just start their own channel. But these are the super feet. I don't know that I'll use them. You know where they might be nice though? For shoes that I'm going to walk around a lot in. But someone mentioned earlier that they put Power Run insoles in their shoes. You know, I feel like that's a better way to do it. Or just as good a way to do it. I don't know. Yeah. What else was I going to tell you guys about today? There's something else I wanted to touch on related to that. I don't remember. Yeah, Eric says, I just swap out Power Run plus insoles into other shoes if they're not exciting. I feel like that would help out a lot. Sometimes I wonder for like shoes that are kind of like very mediocre. I'm like, is this shoe terrible? And it's just the insole is saving it. Because insoles don't last as long durability wise as midsoles, you know? So it makes me think, oh, well, maybe if this is really stiff EVA, the insole will keep things comfy until the EVA compresses enough that it's comfy. I don't know. All right, but here's what I remember. Here's what I remember we wanted to go to. Okay. Was it AJ that wrote this question? Oh, no. Johnny Dodgen wrote this. If Yamaha starts making running shoes, which running shoe brand would be best suited to making motorcycles? I like this a lot. Frank says Solomon motorcycles. I feel like Solomon would make bicycles. Would they make motorcycles? I feel like, what kind of motorcycles would they make? Solomon would make motorcycles that are kind of like, I think it would just look like an old school World War II era BMW motorcycle. Just put nubby tires on a cafe racer with that horizontally opposed boxer engine. That's the kind of motorcycle Solomon would make, right? Or, oh, you know what they would make? No. They would make like the KLM style motorbike, those really, really big ones that are designed for like all terrain. Do you know what everyone know what I'm talking about? That's what they would make, I think. Let's see. Who else? Does anyone have any ideas on that? Johnny says Hoka would make some awesome dirt bikes. I feel like they would. They would just be big old nubby tires, very deflated, so you can go over everything. I feel like if anyone were to make a sidecar motorcycle, not that dirt bike, not that would make sense at all. Basically, they'd make ATVs. Hoka would make ATVs. The ones that you put like 2 people side by side or even 4 people in them. I feel like that's what Hoka would make. It'd be really fun. Frank says, if you put a carbon insole in a super shoe, are they World Athletics legal? I don't think that they are, and I think that the additional height would count towards your 40 millimeters as well. So let's say you took one that didn't have, let's say you put it in a Super Blast. I guess the Super Blast already is too big, but anyone that was close, and then you added a different insole into it, they measure it themselves, I think, for World Athletics when you do your equipment check. And I think if you put an aftermarket carbon-plated insole in there, that would be 2 layers of carbon if there's already one in there. Brian Lacanello says Diadora and Ducati makes obvious sense. That would make sense. There already is a collab, not on the Ducati side, but on the Diadora side. There's a Ducati Diadora shoe. I don't think it's an actual running shoe. I think it's a casual shoe. That one looks okay. It looks like a lot of like the Puma casual shoes that are meant to appeal to like F1 fans, you know. Scuba Sun says like an Adidas BMW 1000cc superbike makes sense. I could see it. The German engineering. Yeah, I like that. AJ says Solomon would make ski bikes. Interesting. Like a snowmobile. Yeah. Scuba Sun says Autumn would make scooters. You think so? Like an Italian, they would have an Italian vibe. I think, or like, do you mean like the 250cc, like the big, like the 500cc or 1000cc scooters, like those kinds, the kind with like the giant back seat? That one? No, I think that would be like a Brooks. I think the on motorcycle would. I think that would, well, maybe it'd be an old school Vespa. I could see it, but I feel like it would be like more like a Triumph cafe racer for sure. That's what I think. Super Engine thinks Puma would make motorcycles. What do you think that they would look like? I think that they would look like a Kawasaki Ninja. I mean, I guess the Mizunos and the Asics would be that, right? I think Asics would make like a Honda Goldwing maybe. And then the Mizunos would be super crazy. That would be like the Kawasaki Ninjas, I think. All right. Alex Moore says, Kofuzi, love the channel. Do you have any marathon races planned this year? Slowly getting the mileage to tackle my first next year. I do. I'll be running Sydney, I guess, end of August, beginning of September. So that's my next marathon. I don't know if it'll be my only marathon. We'll have to see. I have to follow up on that. I'd like to run another. I may want to run another one, but we'll see. But so far, only Sydney is on my calendar. All right. Johnny says Atreyu would make cafe racers. I could see that too. I could also see Atreyu, because of the Texas thing, just making a very bare bones chopper. I could see that too. No fat tires, nothing. Just like an extreme chop, but very like straightforward basic parts. No extra wide end. Definitely a fixed frame kind of thing. Yeah. Andrew Scott says Tracksmith would be an Indian collab. You think so? I could see it. Maybe one of the smaller ones. Maybe a retro. I think some of the newer Indians are all gigantic, aren't they? So I don't think that necessarily fits with like Tracksmith. I feel like, yeah, I don't know if that works. I could see New Balance being like the new big Indian motorcycles kind, maybe. Oh, Hillary Thornton says you meant KTM, not KLM. KLM as an airline. That's what I meant. KTM. Those are the kinds that like they look like they're dirt bikes, but if you get closer to it, it's got metal saddlebags, that are like just, they're not ammo containers, but they kind of look like ammo containers. And from far away, it looks like it's only going to weigh like 250 pounds, but you get up to it and it's like 600 pounds. And there's like a bag on the fuel tank and GPS and mapping and navigation, and you could survive on it for like 3 weeks. That kind. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on, and your thoughts on what kind of bikes would a running shoe make. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. I got to get going. Sorry to cut things short. We'll do another live stream on Thursday. So here's the schedule so far. I'm hoping that the Tokyo trip and talking about Meta Speedray and Sky Tokyo and Edge Tokyo, that stuff. I don't talk about Edge Tokyo all that much. Hopefully that'll be out tomorrow. And then I think the next review is going to be Ghost Max 3, but I think I'll see you guys again first before that. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. All right. Until then, enjoy the beautiful weather. Have fun out there.